Hi there, my name is Dekel Quantz, also known as Bowflex Barbie, your host of the Flex Pretty podcast. Today, I really just want to dive into what Flex Pretty podcast is all about, what you can expect from the episodes, who you can expect to see on the show. And I want to give you a little bit of backstory on why I decided to create the platform and a little bit about my personal story, my personal connection to health, fitness, and wellness. So, that is where we're going to start. So I actually started my personal fitness journey when I was 14 years old. So back in 2008, it wasn't a journey that I embarked on, I would say intentionally in the early stages. So my brother, D'Amico Nesbitt, he was very much into fitness in college. He was a collegiate basketball player, and so he was working out a lot for sports. He grew up as a pretty skinny kid most of his life, and so when he went off to school, he really focused on putting on, quality muscle mass. And so every time he'd come home from college on break, he would be a little bit bigger, a little more muscular. And like we noticed. And in 2008, I lost my mom to breast cancer. And that summer, my brother came home and he kept telling my dad he should join him in the gym because at this point he'd been working out for, a few years now, pretty consistent in the gym. He kept telling my dad he should join him. And my dad, in turn, was like, well, to me, said, you might as well join along, too. You're an athlete. You could benefit from this. So that is when I set foot in the gym for the first time at 14 years old. And I have been on my fitness journey pretty much ever since. I played sports in high school, played sports in college as well. But the gym has been a constant, regardless of whether I was actively playing or not. The gym turned into a place of release. It turned into my therapy for a long time, especially through high school after losing my mom. And it was always this consistent place where I could go, and I always left feeling better than I went in. For a long time in high school as well, it was a place where my dad and I connected, I think. Something that we shared in common, our love for it in common. It was a place for us to bond. We talk about different lifts and like what we were going to be training. Sometimes we trained together. Sometimes we, do our own thing. Once I got comfortable in the gym, I'd run my own workouts, but it was kind of our thing we did together. At least we went together if we didn't work out together. And so I had a really good foundation. I developed, that discipline, that consistency, and that habit from a really young age. Like I would go before school, I would go after school, I would go on weekends. So that carried on straight through college. When I was playing sports, I still worked out on my own. When I stopped playing sports in college, I continued going to the gym. And what happened was, people started gravitating towards me to help them on their journeys. They're like, oh, you're so consistent, you're so disciplined. Like, I want you to help me in the gym. And so eventually that turned into, starting different programs, starting personal training. My dad was also a big factor in me starting my group fitness. I started in 2012, I want to say. I visited home on break, summer break, and my dad was like, it's a good idea. Like, why don't you, do some classes? People keep thinking that my brother's store, his first store at the time, they kept thinking that it was a gym because it's called Fitness Connection, a supplement retail store. And so people kept stopping into the building thinking, oh, it was a gym, but it was really just a supplement retail store. And my dad had the idea, like, people keep thinking it's a gym. Maybe we should do some sort of fitness programming. And so he gave me the idea, and I kind of ran with it. And so I would do that on my breaks home from college. And when I was in college, I started running personal training and group fitness at my campus as well. And so that's really how I got into the space of training other people. And I realized, like, I loved it. I loved my own personal fitness journey, but I also loved sharing my love and my passion for fitness with others. And over the years, I've worked with thousands of clients between the online space and in person. And I just know that as women, especially, we struggle with so many different things on our fitness journey, not just the physical aspect, but the mental aspect. Sometimes we struggle with support of our family and friends, support of our spouses. Sometimes we struggle with just, balancing a whole lot of different things in life, whether that is family, for some people that's kids, for some people that is career. And so the Flex Pretty podcast really is going to tap into all these areas when it comes to women on their fitness journey. It's going to be a space where I bring guests on to share their stories, share their realities, in hopes that you as a viewer can relate in some way, maybe gain some inspiration, some information, also be entertained. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to share your story. I know whenever I'm sharing my story, no matter how many times I share it, the same story, somebody picks up something from it. And, that's really what this platform is for. So if you're watching the episodes, I encourage you to, look at it from a space of, I want to learn something. I want to take something away, regardless of what it is, regardless of whether you can completely identify with the guests or with myself. I think we're going to dive into topics that are beneficial for all women on their fitness journey. I think men as well can benefit. If you have special women in your life that are on their fitness journey, I definitely encourage you to tune in as well. But it's a space where we're going to be sharing, chopping it up, candid conversations on topics surrounding women's health, fitness, and wellness. I think especially from a Caribbean Black woman perspective, it's a space that's not really tapped into. And so that's the idea as well here, to have us represented on, a main platform, have our stories shared, in hopes that people can know that they're not alone in some of their struggles, and know that they can overcome some of these struggles by seeing some of the people that I bring on as well. And so I hope that you will be tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on new episodes. If you have certain topics that you want us to discuss, certain guests you want to see come on the podcast, be sure to drop that info below in the comments, or shoot me an email at decal@bowflexbarbie.com. If you aren't already, also be sure to follow me on Instagram at Bowflex Barbie, TikTok at bowflex.barbie. And I look forward to chatting and connecting with you soon. And I hope to see you tuning in and engaging with us on the Flex Pretty podcast. Until then, see you soon.